After months and months of preparation and care, Karma's eggs have finally hatched. And sadly, things did not go the way we wanted. This is Karma, our 20-foot mainland reticulated python. There have been over 10 videos about Karma. Let's recap her story.
Pulling me right up you.
If it's about the snake's well-being, I'm all for it. This is probably a way better cage than what I'd had.
The idea was never really to breed Karma necessarily, right? But once we said, okay, we're going to bring her on, have her live here, we basically have been thinking about this is kind of the ultimate opportunity to recreate nature at its finest. We want to make, you know, we want to teach people all about the natural process, the natural lifestyle, and obviously for a big female retic, breeding is going to be a huge drive. Really, we just bred her because she was loaded up with follicles. She was going through the motions. Didn't have any plan beforehand. But yeah, it was at that time I think we decided for not only just for her to have the whole experience, and then if we did that, we shouldn't pull the eggs and do all the typical things a retic breeder does. We should let her, you know, experience the maternal incubation, and just to keep her safe. Because if she lays a clutch full of infertile eggs, that can be really hard on them physically. As far as the breeding goes, I think personally, I felt like there were more risks if we didn't breed her than if we did. I felt like the risks of her getting egg bound or slugging out could have been potentially fatal. So no, I mean, in order to keep her safe, we decided to breed her. There was definitely a risk to the unborn babies in letting Karma try to incubate herself.
It's a natural risk. I mean, she's doing the natural process, so in the wild they go through these things too, and there's only so much that you can do when they are maternally incubating. Because
we were framing it completely for Karma to have her own natural experience, I think that's where I was okay taking that risk.
Yeah, it was more about her than the outcome, I guess.
100%.
Oh, 'cause he's so cool.
The Rausch Racer is pretty cool. Actually, honestly, so we knew Karma was a platinum het albino. And so I called a guy that I know does deal with mainlands and sell mainland babies. And he's like, yeah, I would love to have these babies. I talked about just selling them as a whole, like entire wholesale purchase. And so he was asking about the genetics, and he said, you know, a lot of my customers really like albino golden childs. That's like, can I get an albino golden child? And I said, well, she is a het albino. Certainly we had golden child stuff, so we talked about some different ones, but it just seemed kind of fitting. Like, so first of all, the Rausch Racer, he's a tiny little guy.
He's really small.
But he is technically a mainland.
Yeah.
He's a weird animal. Also cool because Karma spent a lot of her life being cared for by Rob. And then we called that snake the Rausch Racer because Rob hatched it out at his house. Now, Rausch Racer was kind of like raised at Reach Out Reptiles his whole life, but he was produced by Rob. So it was like Rob Mainland to Rob Mainland. It was all the right genetics. I don't know, it just seemed like the stars aligned.
Yeah, it's fate. Yeah, Karma just has like such a like sweet personality. She's calm, but she's curious, and she, you know, I really like working with her.
And then you have
She's
this
great.
tiny little Rausch Racer who's a total goofball.
Yes, yeah, that's the best way to describe him.
We've got Karma in here. We've got her boyfriend in here because she's breeding right now. And this will be clean. We haven't cleaned it up yet. Okay, see little poops. Oh my gosh, they're trying to lock. Oh, they are locked right now. Look at this, Jay. You can't make that stuff up.
Oh,
That is so. Look at him working it right there. You see it?
yeah.
That is so cool.
And then, just 2 months later.
So one of the biggest things with like day-to-day care when she's maternally incubating is keeping the humidity up and high enough, getting the moss and everything how we wanted it, and then just misting it daily and make sure that you're not over misting and like getting the eggs themselves wet. She obviously didn't want to be bothered that much, and even though, you know, she's super sweet, you still don't want to stress her out, so making sure that you're misting at the right angle and everything and keeping her safe, yourself safe, but just getting that right humidity for the eggs. And then just also, like, you know, we kept a water bowl by her so she didn't have to leave the eggs fully to come to over here.
Although she did do that once.
Yeah, she did. She came out to shed, she destroyed everything, went to the bathroom. So, I mean, that was a nice sign to see that she was feeling okay to come out and everything, so.
So here she is, and what we did to set it up was, you can see we added a bunch of sphagnum moss in there, which she actually kind of piled up and laid on top of. So what happened, I don't know if I can show you from top down, this side of her is exposed to pretty direct heat. And so the surface of her skin is getting like 92 degrees, which is pretty hot for eggs. That's too hot for eggs. Now, she looks really full, but they actually like hollow their bellies out and hold the eggs. Can you guys see right under the hook there? That nasty green, hi baby, it's okay. I'll give you a little pet. I know. She's like, what is going on? Come here, let's just lift. Can we get a little tickle, little lift? There's one of the eggs. It looks horrible. She actually went a little bit long, right?
Yeah.
The eggs went long.
Yeah.
So she had moved off of her coil for a while and loosened up on them towards the end. So we're like, oh, it's coming, it's coming.
Yeah.
And then they didn't hatch all that week.
Yeah.
And then over the weekend, she sat back on top of them again.
Her eggs were due to hatch over Memorial Day weekend. You know, we come back in person, and I'm in here, you know, misting, because I'm still taking care of eggs at that point. And I look in, and what's funny is, never saw any pipping, but I just saw one single fully hatched baby just like right in the back corner, like laying with her.
I've been watching this camera all weekend. It's been Memorial Day weekend. I've been on this app, like, checking in, like, she's been in a different position, but, like, nothing, no activity. And I come in here to spray. There's a little one in the back.
I don't know, it was so exciting and very, very heartwarming to see her with her little baby.
Yeah, that's her baby. You're sitting on him.
When it came to like pipping or activity with the eggs, we really couldn't see much at all.
Yeah, and I mean, she has a big body, so she was covering them and doing her job, keeping them safe. And yeah, we had no idea how many there were and what the rest of the quality of them really looked like.
We have this weird tradition, like we don't try to do this, it just happens. Every 2 weeks, we have a breeder tier exclusive Patreon meeting. And every 2 weeks, anything significant or cool that's gonna happen happens during that meeting.
Yeah, they're pretty lucky, I guess.
No kidding. Karma's clutch was no exception, right?
Yeah.
You found that baby out earlier that day.
Yeah.
And so we, showed our Wednesday video, and then we rolled into the breeder tier thing. We don't really know who or what's hatching, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't know what I'm gonna do when I get in there tonight. But yeah, here's the first baby. There he is. I mean, look at the size of his head. My idea is just to go sit in Karma's cage, see if she bites me or if we find any more babies. Boy, this is going to be a battle. We get the breeder tier call. We go in, we look, and that's when we started, and you were still here, that's when we started kind of checking to see what was going on. And then the first sign of something wrong, you just see one baby out.
Yeah.
And no clue of anything else because there's like this wall of crusty eggs,
Yeah.
that we couldn't see past. I don't think there's any way. Normally what I do is try to like kind of prop her up and scoop the eggs out and just get the eggs. But I don't know. Hey baby, it's okay. I know. Yep.
Tim got her off the
I don't have to worry
rafters.
about hurting the eggs because I'm about to cut them all open anyway.
There
You
you
ever
go,
see
Garrett.
someone
There
fall-
you go.
Pull a
Yeah,
stick this big off of a clutch?
oh, dude, she
She needs
empty.
she needs a nice bath over there in that water.
Oh, it's like a pancake. I see a baby right here. What on earth? I don't
Bill
know how
speaking
she
from
planned to
experience.
ever hatch these. They're just so smashed. I saw several of them pipped with their heads out, but their skulls were crushed. I saw one baby with his head out who got squished.
Oh.
Yeah. But I thought it was alive at first. It looked good. But no, he's literally crushed. This snake is crushed. An egg has tension there, right? It keeps itself, but once a baby cuts that open, there's no more tension. And so some of them had been like crushed down and like half the baby, the yolk was like oozed out of the egg and they were dead. This one literally was crushed to death by her. Oh. You can see its head is smashed. Oh, I don't know.
So I go from the excitement of finding that first baby and seeing it to then, once the rest of the eggs are out, you just, you're looking at them, you're like, this doesn't look good. And as you're going through, it is just one death after another, especially the ones that, almost made it out on their own. That was even harder to see because... Which is the vast majority of the clutch. Yeah, so just, you'd get one after another, you'd like go to like check an egg and you just hope for the best and you weren't always getting that.
So close. Pretty stinking crushed. Nah, it's hard in there. It's all mummied. It's not good. Just trying to whittle them down. Look over here, guys. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, that was tough to go through the whole process of seeing, her from the very start of this and then having so many babies that
you're caring
didn't
for her,
make it.
caring for them.
Yeah.
And she gave a lot to get to that point.
Yeah, she did.
And I think a lot of people knew that was going to be a rough night for me. Those guys know us better than anyone else. They get all that behind-the-scenes access to us constantly. So that was a pretty intense ending to a long journey, huh? I got to sleep off all these dead babies, and then I'll come look at these pretty ones again tomorrow. Feel a lot better about it. I think it was like 20-some animals that had pipped were crushed. The next morning I came in and it's like, you pull yourself up out of bed and get ready to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, there were some that we still had to take care of that were, alive and well. So.
Karma and everything else.
Yeah.
So I know for me, I came in the next morning and just kind of pulled out the living babies, right? They're in their tubs and all kind of huddled together, and I just kind of sat with them for a minute. And you realize, this is pretty cool. I just started to feel pretty proud of Karma for what he had done, where maybe I was looking at it as like this was a loss because of all the babies that didn't make it or like got so close and then died. But I think truthfully, in the end, just because it was a hard experience doesn't mean it wasn't a good experience. We have these beautiful babies to kind of remember her by, and it took a minute to get over it. And I wouldn't say I was totally over it, but I remember, was it a few days maybe afterwards, I started talking to you about, maybe we shouldn't just pack these up and send them on their way.
Yeah, I was very excited because he suggested not only one, but two of them stay with us. And the more we talked about it, it really made sense because, we want Karma's legacy to live on and raise some of these babies from actual babies, from hatchlings, and then use them as ambassador animals, which is really exciting for me because that's going to be a lot of my responsibility in watching these little babies grow up, letting her legacy live on because she's so loved by so many people, not only here but on Patreon and all of our other community members and everything. She's an amazing snake, both size-wise, color and personality and everything. So that was very exciting to learn that we get to keep some of her little babies.
If nothing else, I feel a lot closer of a connection to Karma after going through all that.
Yeah. She's always been great to interact with, but seeing her have these instincts and learning and everything and just helping her care for what she needed was very, it did create a close bond.
I'm really excited for her to be able to see her own babies grow.
Yes.
When does that ever happen? That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think she's going to be great with it, too.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to see if they take after mom or dad size-wise, because that is such a drastic difference.
I have my theories.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They were big babies, I know that.
Oh my gosh.
They were big babies,
size
big
of
yolks.
2-year-olds for the other stuff we have. Holy smokes. Ooh.
Sounds like he's gonna poop.
I want to turn this towards you so much right now. Remember when you were joking with me about the Madu? Yeah. Did someone help her out? Hey, Doc